A interesting individual who the Gemara tells us was a very big sinner, and he went to great lengths to commit the sins that he was into. So much so that when he heard there was someone who he never sinned with, I'll speak a little cryptic, you had to travel, cross a river to get there, pay a sum of money. He made his way. He journeyed there. He met her. He gave the money. At some point, she said to him, "You're too far gone." Just like air that's blown is gone, you can't retrieve it. Your soul's like beyond. And something about the way that she said it and what the message was very, very hurtful to him. And he walked outside and he said, "Really? Like, I'm the worst of the worst. Look who's telling me that I can never return." And he felt very, very bad. And it's true. He was a person who was not involved in Torah learning or doing mitzvahs for a very long time. There's actually a term, me'olam, he was never involved. And he started to cry. And he turned to the mountains and he said, "Mountains, mountains, pray for me." Turned to the ocean, turned to the clouds. He realized that no one could help him. It's his wrongdoings, it's his mistakes, it's his behavior, his life. What's going to be? And he realized that, I can't, what am I going to do here? I'm really, really messed up. And he started to cry. And he put his head between his knees. The anguish was so intense about his situation that he died. And Rabbi said, Yesh koina ilamai b'sha'ah achas, there's a person who could acquire his portion in the world to come in 1 hour, despite the fact that his whole life was bad and his choices were wrong and his decisions were really, impure. But because he had real tshuva, he made up for the past. Now we use this story to understand the question. Al-Rebbe asked in the Maimer, if you tell me that tshuva fixes a sin, a transgression, that makes sense, because a transgression causes a stain or a blemish, dirt on the neshama, and through tshuva, whatever the necessary steps are, I could erase, clean, get rid of that stain. But a mitzvah's aseh that I missed, for whatever reason, if you put on tefillin a certain way, at a certain time, by day and not by night, with a bracha, and so on, you accomplish something. I get a certain light or shine or spirituality that I don't have before, a holiness. I missed it. I could put on tefillin today, but it's not yesterday's. And yet we say that tshuva could reach there. So we're going to use this story to understand that what happened in this story, there's something called a very, very deep desire. When a person has a very, very strong ratzein to Hashem, you will evoke a ratzein ha'elyain, which is the higher level of desire above. There's two paths of Hashem's desire. One is ratzein, which follows the rules of Seder Hishtalshalos, the order of how the flow of divine presence comes into this world. And essentially what that says is Torah and mitzvahs. It starts with Chachma, which is Torah, that's the top, and it keeps going down the flow, down the chain. And if you do mitzvahs, then you get it. If you don't, you don't. Certain things you can do tshuva for, and you could clean up a mistake, you could get a second chance, whatever it may be.
I heard that this superpower of Teshuva comes from the snuff that Hasidim use on Yom Kippur.
Take it in. I thought they don't have to do tshuva. Everyone has to do tshuva. Mm-hmm. In any case, that's a normal way of ratzein. It goes down a typical flow. It's very good. You do your thing, you follow instructions, and you get everything you need. There's a higher level of ratzein, which if you could touch that, you surpass all the rules of the book. The rules say if you put on tefillin on this and this day, you get this light, this energy. If you don't, you don't. Matzah, whatever it is. There's a system. And you want to connect, you got to do certain things. There is a level, and Eliezer ben Dordaya reached that level. It sounds almost unfair. Like, you had a whole life of whatever, and now in 20 minutes, whatever it was, boom, he has his portion in the world to come. Now, we're not going to talk about the fact that he lost his life in the process. He literally died from it. But that's not the point, it's not the death part. The point is that the intense sincerity that he felt, in his case, he passed away from it, but it doesn't have to be that way. The anguish and the sincerity that a person has is so powerful that it touches the Ratzon Ha'alyin, and that doesn't use that path of Ishtalshalos. Who cares if you didn't put on tefillin yesterday? Of course we care. But you could still achieve what tefillin gives you because you get that Ratzon. The only reason why there's blockages and instructions and whatever is because you're using the normal path. But there is a overriding system. But you just take a helicopter over the whole thing and you get there. It's not, you don't have to go all the steps. Now, regarding this level of Ratzin, is the discussion. It goes in more detail. If you look at it inside. V'lachin amru razal. The line starts with the stalshlus just before the period.
Which shows?
The base.
How far down?
About a third of the page. Nun
The
dalet.
second column.
Yeah. So we really went further than this. We're going to go back a little bit.
V'lachin amru razal.
Yeah, exactly. V'lachin amru razal. Listen to this. That's why our sages tell us the makim shabali tshuva imdin chulu. There's a statement from our sages that in a place where Bali Tshuva stand, complete tzaddikim can't stand there. In other words, their level is greater, which doesn't make any sense.
Can't touch this. Sorry.
It's beyond.
Where's the humility, Mordechai?
Dumashchin le bechela yatir. The reason why a Bal Tshuva, let's take Eliezer ben Dordaya, he knew what's wrong, and he still made the wrong choices. I don't mean someone who grew up without education. He knew exactly what's wrong, and he committed it. Somehow you're telling me he's a greater level than the tzaddik who never sinned? How's that possible? Because in order for him, or a regular, in the case of a Bal Tshuva, to reach that level, you have to put with a much greater strength. It takes much more effort. This is what you're used to. You grew up this way. This is all you know. You never experienced, tasted anything else. It doesn't take as much effort as it does, not that it's easy, but it doesn't take as much effort as it does as someone who has been there. Every time he passes by whatever restaurant that he used to go to, every other time he has a craving, if only. And he's counting how many months or years it's been since he's had it. Because there's a pull. In order to overcome that, it requires a much stronger strength. And if you're pulling with a more vigor, you're going to reach higher. And they do. And that's why Bali Tshuva are higher.
Is that why Hashem put an amazing smelling Pakistani restaurant right in front of my office?
Is there such a thing?
Yes. Delicious.
Choose Tel Aviv. Why? The idea is like this. The Ratzin Ha'alyan, as we discussed, has two levels. The first level is the one that goes into Chachma. Which Chachma is the beginning of the flow of divine emanation, at least in the way it interacts with the world. This level of Hashem's desire, which we need desire in order for this to work, that comes through Torah mitzvahs. And if you don't do it, you won't get it. Forget punishment, you're just not going to access it. Which they, Torah mitzvahs, are the supernal desire of Hashem, level one. Which is enclosed in the wisdom of Torah, Chachma nafkes, Chachma because Torah comes from Chachma. And this flows through the quality, the level of complete tzaddikim, which they fulfill Torah mitzvahs their entire lives. They never messed up. So the first level of Ratzon Aliyah, which is Seder Shtalshalos, is a very big deal. The ones that really access that, like to its fullest, are tzaddikim gemurim. Tzaddikim gemurim means people that never messed up, ever. Like, not once in a while, not used to, past life, they never did.
They don't even have like an intimation of Yetzer Hara.
So, I don't know, because you're right, the true level of tzaddik doesn't have that. He doesn't stress that over here. Even if you're using the real tzaddik gomer definition, maybe he has an interest, but he never did it.
According to Tanya,
right.
Tzaddik Gamor, there's not even a voice for Yetzer Hara.
Right. So that's the true definition of tzaddik gomer.
But here he might not necessarily mean that.
Perhaps. There's borrowed terms. He's specific. He never messed up. Did he want to? Let's go with your interpretation. Probably not. Didn't even want it. Real tzaddik. He gets big stuff. In other words, it's hard to reach it. It's hard to maintain it, to achieve it. It's a big deal. But he had, and therefore he has the ratzin of Seder Shtalshalos. This is the level of the skull which covers over the brain. He's going to explain. How does it work within the anatomy of the body? The three chambers of the skull, or hollows of the skull. There is a dwelling place or a home seat of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the three various levels of how our mind functions. It's a process. It starts with an idea, gets developed, then you get it, then you connect with it. But then you have etzem achefif ala meichin, the bone which covers over the brain. She'enei mishkan hameichin klal. It's not at all the dwelling place, the place where the brain is. Hu anikra galgalta. What is the skull? The skull is the cover. It's a bone above the brain. Kach, similarly, al derech mashal b'chinas ratzin zeh hu lemayla mayla mishkan Chabad. This ratzin that we're talking about is well beyond the seat of Chabad. And this one gets revealed in Valley Teshuva, to the depths of their heart. Now, the Ezra and Dordaya is an example, right? You have Meichin, and that's Chochmah, where it all starts from. But you do have a level which is beyond that, and that is, in Chassidus, it's called the Galgalta, the skull, which is even above that, and that's something which, if you go from the depths of your heart, which is what's going to be required to make some major changes of lifestyles and temptation, etc. If you do that, you go deep enough, you reach high enough. You evoke that desire. When you get there, what you did doesn't matter anymore. Past is irrelevant. It's like, I need you to behave a certain way. If you reach there, this behavior is like so beyond, doesn't even matter. Not that you could do it now, but what you've done in the past doesn't affect this. It doesn't taint it. Yeah. Which is also a supernal desire, it's a level which is greater than what the nefesh could handle. He forgot to put on his yarmulke. How do we do this in a nice way? Wait a minute. While you're watching this, take a moment and subscribe to our channel. Like, share. Let's spread the Torah learning all around. Let's get Chassidus spilling over in the streets, meaning YouTube. And together we'll bring Mashiach. Now back to regular programming. That level is Mrs. Gal that gets revealed, thank you, by Bali Teshuva. Could live through the depths of the heart, which is also, what was that?
Thank you for the opportunity.
The supernal desire in the nefesh, which is beyond, higher than what the soul could handle. Okay? The soul has a certain process system, what it plugs into. It doesn't get that level. It's not designed for it. It's the desire of the heart. Through this very high level, very deep desire, which is higher than ishtalshlus, which gets revealed in their soul. This is the punchline. All of the blemishes, the lacking, the voids, and the blemishes, he's missing. Whatever yesterday's tefillin brings, he's missing it. If you go that deep, it's going to fill it up for you. Which you missed the mitzvah's assay. Where is the foundation? Not the foundation, but the root, the source of this mitzvah's assay? It's in Hararei Kodesh. It's in very lofty, high places, holy places. You could access that through Ru'usa Deliba. If I get such a deep level of desire, it'll fix it. I don't know if there's an example in the world that we live in of somebody who was not capable of doing something, but they were so determined, with such a deep desire for it, that somehow they did the impossible. Is that an exaggeration? Is it just a metaphor? Do we say because it's kind of very, very hard to call it impossible? I don't know if it exists. But you definitely see a parallel to it, where someone is really, really determined.
That would be a miracle.
If it's true and possible. We have this idea that you could dig up deeper koiches within yourself. In other words, there's elements of your soul which are dormant, and there is a way to get it out. So I don't know if it's impossible. It's just very, very hard.
Don't Christians think that like that's everyone's in that situation all the time?
Of being stuck.
Of like needing basically a miracle in order to like
See the light? No, we don't see that. We're talking about a certain level that's strong enough to fix the past misdeeds, not transgressions, like opportunities. For that, we say you have to go really, really, really deep, what you're calling a miracle. But basic, no. V'zeu mima'amakim krasicha Hashem. This is what it says, mima'amakim, from the depths. I call out to you, Eibishter. From the depths means very, very deep, the deeper desires within myself. Shaydei b'chines mima'amakim krasicha, through the level of mima'amakim, which is a plural term, because there's two. Liyas hamshachas havaya, to bring forth the flow of the level of havaya. Achar, how does this work? Because it was now revealed the source and the spring, the well which springs forth. I call it to you from the depths, and once I dig deep enough, it's going to sprout out, just like a well. If you dig and find the water, which is very hard, but if you get there, it's going to just gush forth. It's a similar way. Our relationship with Hashem is going to be so strong, the rules are not going to matter.
There's a place in Yerushalayim where that happens every day. It's called Mayanot.
There you go. Have you been there? Chol has been there.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting question. We say every day in davening 3 times, Slach lanu, right? Atone for us, our Father, because we sinned. What do you mean because we sinned? That's the reason I should atone for you? It's not a reason I should atone for you. That's the reason that, I don't want to finish the sentence. It's not understood. What do you mean because we sinned? You come to the judge and say, listen, forgive me because I committed a crime. Why should I forgive you again? Because I committed a crime. That's essentially what you're telling Hashem. I know what you're trying to say. Since I sinned, I have no choice, forgive me. But that's not how we say it. We say ki chatanu.
You left out the space for a phenomenal defense attorney.
Which is arrow facing down.
Just an amazing lawyer who captures the judge, and just defends the client. So it's whatever he happened to do, it's just forgotten.
It's not understood. Is that a reason for atonement? Because I sinned? You should have said, Hashem, forgive us for the sin that we did. That makes sense. Hashem, I sinned, forgive me. Forgive me for the sin. However, but based on what we said before, it makes sense. Because chatanu is not just a sin. Chatanu means a lack. Hashem, forgive me because I have a lack. I'm missing something. I need it to be filled. Because we sinned and we're lacking, I'm lacking the flow of that goes through Ishtalshalos, which only happens through Torah mitzvahs. Therefore, please forgive us. Awaken the source of Rachmim and Sliches, which the source of compassion, mercy, and Sliches is from very high up, which will be able to fill the void. How high does it have to be to fill the void? Beyond the Ishtalshalos, which is above Chachma. Ishtalshalos says there are rules, there's a system, and if you don't follow them, it's not going to work. It can't. Teshuva exists there. A basic level of Teshuva. If you want to go anything more than basic, you have to go higher. Which is the revelation of Hashem's desire. Which is higher than Seder Shtashlos. To fill all the lackings. But I think we could even say that even basic level of Teshuva also reaches higher. The fact that you could say, although you messed up, it means that you're going beyond the system. But to fill in something which is a missed opportunity, a mitzvah's asay that a person omitted, you got to go deep enough to fill it in. That's what it means, atone for us. Bringing back the desire is not the same desire that was there first. First there was a desire to do tefillin. I didn't. Now I got to reach higher to get it. The higher desire that I'm going to evoke is not the same one. That desire of Hashem left through the sin, the oven, and the transgression.
And this is like almost all of the engineering, the mechanics of ruchnius. The more averos that we do, the more we like plug up the divine receptors, so to speak. Like this is why, like on certain days, when we didn't do the right thing the day before, whatever, we were mean to our friends, or like we don't feel it so much, but
Get desensitized.
Yeah.
How is that Ratzin going to come back? The Yom Shacham flow down. You missed it. It's gone. The bringing forth this desire and this atonement comes from the desire of all the desires, which means the deeper level. It's well beyond the level of Ratzin, which is enclosed in Chachma. Okay, so it's higher than Ratzin, which is enclosed in Chachma. That level of Ratzin is basic, Chachma being the top. It's high, it's Hashem's will, but we want to go higher than that.
What's tzitz?
That's the plate that went on the forehead of the Kohen Gadol. Now, where was it placed? On the forehead. Right? So it represents higher than, in that Maimer he discusses, there's a level higher than the mind.
So the Tefillin Shel Rosh is also synonymous with that too.
What's it called?
Tzitz.
Tzitz.
In English it would probably be TZ, I, TZ.
Does it have a relation to tzitzit?
I don't know. Sometimes it sounds the same. I don't know if tefillin goes because it's considered to be higher. I mean,
No, it's synonymous. But,
yeah. That's what we say in the same capital that we say in Seres Teshuva. That has ma'amakim. We say because with you there's atonement. What does it mean with you? Ki aslicha o gilui ratzon ha'alyin. Aslicha is the revelation of Hashem's desire. That's what atonement does. It brings the revelation of Hashem's desire. Shalamayla me'ishtalshlus, which is beyond the ishtalshlus. Shalbachinas imcha mamish, which is literally with you. Okay, mashakosel ki imcha mikar chayim. Similar to what it says, with you is the source of life. Shemakar kol achayim v'chayei achayim, that the source of all life and life of life, meaning the source of where it really all comes from, nimshachim imkeira dekula, it comes from the source of everything. Lamayla meseder ishtalshlus. Which, when we say imcha, with you is atonement, we're trying to say with you is the source of life, Hashem. Source is not what Seder Shtalshlos. Because again, in order to atone, we got to go higher. The topic of the title we're giving to today's class is, can I fix missed opportunities? What's the idea? You could. Although you can never make up because you missed, Monday was Monday, or whatever, Sunday was Sunday, it's gone. But you could, because the reason why Sunday has certain ramifications that only apply to Sunday is because there's a Seder Shtalshlus. So you didn't daven Shachas Mechamai to put on tefillin and give tzedakah or whatever on Sunday. All those opportunities are gone, and Monday it's a new count. That's only Seder Shtalshlus. But if you go to Imcha Mikar Chaim with the source of life, which is Hashem, then you're at the source, and the source is well beyond, this order of things. Now you can't just access it because you want to. You have to really, really work towards it. But if it's deep enough, then Hashem gives you access to it. So b'chinas imcha mamish. Okay, mashakosov imcha makar chayim, similar to what it says, with you is the source of life. Shemakar kol hachayim v'chayei hachayim, that the source of all life and the life of life, nimshachim imkeret d'kol l'maylamis and d'shashos. Gilui aslicha v'ratzin alyin, and when this slicha and desire from above gets revealed in this level, azai leman tivarei, in order that I should have that fear, that awe for Hashem. There is a sustaining element to yira. It's not just it's there and then it moves on. There's a endurance to it. Which is from the midah of the malchus of Hashem. Shemi bil odei. Shemi bal odei. Gilui Ratzon Elyon, if not for the revelation of Hashem's supernal desire, b'chinas slicha, ein kiyum l'kiyum malchus Yisbarach. There is no kiyum to the malchus of Hashem. The misha pagam b'teira mitzvahs, to somebody who blemished in teira mitzvahs. In other words, we're saying, in order that there should be some endurance, because if not, I have no chance. I wasn't perfect. And with this, we understand how a person is able to make up for a missed mitzvah, or why Bali Teshuva are greater than Tzadikim Gemurim, or why Eliezer ben Dordaya, despite his lifestyle, got his portion of the world to come in a very short amount of time, because the whole problem and the obstacles are when you're going the regular route. But Teshuva gives you access to a deeper level of Ratzin, and when you go really deep in Teshuva, like Eliezer ben Dordaya did, it goes well beyond all Seder Shtalshalos. And you bring out Hashem's Ratzin that says, you didn't do what? I didn't do anything. Like, I'm not dependent on that. I want it.
It's a real relationship, right? Like what Rabbi Akiva calls sharing the Holy of Holies, because it represents that Hashem is looking for us to come back to Him. It's like somebody we really, really love. We're going to try and do everything that we know that person wants. And here, the mitzvahs are an opportunity to do what Hashem wants, to come back to Hashem. And if we've done something bad, the greater the teshuva, it's like a true, like a deep, I really want to make up, with the real relationship. Yep. We do that, it's received.
Absolutely. That's what it's about. What time is it?
We got 15 minutes.
Oh well. Gimel. V'hinei gilui b'china zu v'ratzin zeh, to reveal this b'china, this desire, hu misgale b'Rosh Hashanah. This level somehow gets revealed on Rosh Hashanah itself. Shu b'chinas reish v'galgalta dechafi al mecha. The day of Rosh Hashanah is a head. It's a level of skull that covers over the brain. As I said before, we have 3 levels of intellect, chacham bin adas, and there's a galgalta that's above it. So the maila and mishna chacham bin adas. It's well beyond the dwelling of chacham bin adas. The gam aseres mei tshuva, and also during aseres mei tshuva. Shebechol aseres mei tshuva imin hamizmer mima'amakim korasicha. And not just aseres Rosh Hashanah, but also the 10 days of tshuva, which all those 10 days we say this capital that we keep talking about, mima'amakim, from the depths I call out to you, expressing that by depths is where it actually happens. And therefore sound in the month shofar. Pirush tiku, what's the idea of tiku? Tkiya hu kol pashut. Tkiya is a simple sound. Hayetze mehevel halev, which comes out of the ear of the heart, which represents heart. What is that? It's the cry of the heart. What's a shofar? It's not some kind of complicated explanation or argument why you should forgive us. It's just, that's all it is. Hayetis b'pnimiyas halev, which comes out from the internal part of the heart, inners of the heart, which is well beyond chachma, which you cannot express with your lips through speech. The feeling that a yid has on this level of shofar is so deep, it's not expressible. But our point is, it's beyond chachma, and therefore it's not limited to even Torah mitzvahs. We're on Rosh Hashanah, and sure, you got to follow where Rosh Hashanah is supposed to be, but you're trying to fix past. Well, that's what Rosh Hashanah is. It's the reish, it's the galgalta. Why can't it be brought out with our lips through speech? Because speech comes from chachma. Like it says, Hashem with wisdom founded the earth. Meaning, dibur is from wisdom. That's why it says, listen in my voice. Pirush b'kaili. B'kaili means shebetoich kaili, this which is inside my heart, my voice. His inner, which is the pnimius of the heart. But the kol itself, that comes from the external part of the heart, which is lower than chachma and das. Right? Koil sound comes from the heart, but it comes from the external part of the heart. It's a voice, it's words expressing something. You need air to do it, but it's from the external part of the heart. A sound of the shofar, when we say Shema big kaili, listen in my sound, you're talking about the inners of the sound, the previous halev. Because the chetzenes halev is only from chachma and das, lower than chachma and das.
Why are the externals lower than Chokmah and Das?
You're saying it should be equal to chachma
I
and das?
don't know. I'm just, like, it doesn't seem to because the external aspects of the heart are because is that I'm guessing now because they're superficial, they're not like truly felt and emotionally.
They're from the heart and they're valuable, but they're not going to reach higher than chachma. But it's very, very sincere. It comes from a very deep place. Then it matters. That's what it says in the month. Pirush chidush ha'ilamais, renewal of the worlds me'ayin liyesh, from nothing to something. Hamischadshim b'chol Rosh Hashanah, which get renewed every Rosh Hashanah. B'dvar Hashem v'ruach pivius bareh, the word of Hashem and the air of His mouth. Huayidei tkiya, that happens through a tkiya. Shem shachas pnimius eineg v'ratzon ayin baruch hu, which is the flow of the inner delight and want, desire from Hashem, which is well beyond Chachma, which gets revealed in the level of Shofar, showing in Shapru Masecha. The idea of Shofar is beautify your actions. It's the level of Shifra. One of the reasons why Moshe Rabbeinu's mother was referred to as Shifra, because she would beautify the child, whatever it means, oils, whatever, make the child nicely. One of the explanations of shofar is to beautify, to make nice. Literally, it means improve. Shapru. Shapru masechem, improve your actions, but make them beautiful. Actually, literally, it means beautify. The intent is make them improve them. Let's skip this parenthesis. Dahainu. Yeah.
Trying to find the other parentheses.
10 lines, 12 lines from the top. The left side of the line.
Okay.
Which means the level of Eineg Ha'olyin and Ratzon Alyin, which is beyond Seder Shalashlos, will be in a level of Gilui. There should be the revelation of Hashem's Malchus down here. Yeah. Same idea. We're trying to get to this level of Ratzin and Eineg Ha'olyin. As a result of that, you have a beautifying of the deeds. Meaning you have the ability, same concept, to fill this which was missed.
So you're describing what's happening on the other side, on the side, like Hashem's side of the equation?
No, the results with us.
Okay.
But Shofar has another piece to it, that Shapru Masechem. It's beautifying it. How is it beautifying it? Through getting that deep ratzin. Beautify and Eineg is the same concept. Delight and beauty is the same idea. So the Shofar brings out the ratzin and Eineg Ha'olyin. Not just desire, is also delight. You want it. It's pleasure.
Okay.
Although we say that pleasure is higher than desire. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is what it means. Elikim, meaning the level of godliness which is involved with this world, went up through the Trua. Literally, when he was doing the level of Elikim goes up, which Elikim is Gvura. Elikim is limited to, so to speak, to creation, to this world, to the order of things. We take that up. Havaya b'kol shofar. And then, through the sound of shofar, you get the Havaya level, which is Hayah V'iyah. It's beyond Elikim. Pirush, she's alos Elikim l'mata l'mayla yiyah b'sruah v'chenas chiba v'reyas. That the elevation of Elikim from below to above will happen through Trua, which is in a way of love and cherishing, meaning pleasantness. Excuse me. And bringing forth the level of Havaya from above to below will happen through the Kol Shofar, in the level of the supernal delight, to bring forth the blowing of the king youth in him. It should flow upon us the delight and the cherishing and the friendship, so to speak, of Hashem's kingdom, kingship. Blessed be He. Oineg is Ratzain. If we could evoke that, we'll bring forth Hashem's Malchus upon us. It happens through two stages. The Kim goes up and Havaya comes down. And it happens through the Trua. The Trua is what takes the Kim up in a good way, and the Kol Shofar is what brings the Havaya down. Makes the Einegalian flow down here. And then it says, it was in the Shur Melech, Yachad Shiftei Yisrael. Shiftei Melashon Anafim. What does it mean? Shvatim, from the term of branches. When we say Yachad Shiftei Yisrael, all the Shvatim together, what we're saying is that even though Shvatim are separate, one of the definitions of Shvatim are branches, so the branches are, they're going to be together. Yichud Ayon is Yachad Loveinu Chulu. Okay. It's very, very important few lines. How much time do we have? We're good?
We have 4 minutes.
Okay. I'll do it a little bit fast, and we'll have to review it. Achin Shoshana Yemadin. Shoshana is a day of judgment. Shedanan as Adam al Ma'isa. They judge the person over his deeds. Mishana Sha'avra from the past year. What's the point? Because we're trying to get Hashem's desire on us. Do we deserve it? If you want to have the delight and the desire of Hashem in the revelation of His Malchus, a person has to search. What's this delight going to dwell on? What's going to apply on? I need something. What are you exactly going to have delight? You're telling me you want to have the delight or the desire of Hashem's Malchus if during the year you threw off the yoke of His Malchus? I've got to find some dedication on my end that I could even plug in to say, oh, it's the desire of Hashem, it's being revealed, let me get some of that. Really? You said you're not interested in Him. Well, I did. I didn't say that, but I behaved that way. But I also have this in this area that I was very good in. I got to find something that I could apply it to. There's some obstacles, multiple obstacles, and prosecutions against it. Because if you take the person face value and say, what's your relationship with Hashem's Malchus? Was it Kabbalah Sol or was it Prika Sol last year? And if it's not exactly Kabbalah Sol, if it's more Prika Sol, then how do you expect the shine or the resting of all that stuff? And that's why we have Asheres Mei Tshuva. To awaken the desire of above and the supernal delight of above without anything holding it back. There's issues, but if you go deep enough, the issues won't matter. That these 10 days correspond to the 10 keches of the nefesh, which are seichel of our nefesh, which is chacham bin adas, and midos, which are emotions, character. Chulu. So, Teshuva could evoke desire of Hashem, the higher level. Rosh Hashanah gets revealed. Problem is you can't just plug into it because it's revealed. It has to have some way to connect. That connection is my Kabbalah Sol. But if I didn't have Kabbalah Sol, how's it going to work? So for this we say, Mimamakim, from the depths, I'm calling out to bring it out, even though maybe I don't exactly have all the ingredients based on last year. Thanks for joining. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.